Hey there, how's it going? I'm TechDweeb, welcome. Thanks for clicking on the video today. Over the years, I've tried my hands at making lots of things, but one of the things that I'm most proud of that I made is this. I can tell you're impressed. But another thing that I'm proud of that I made is this. This is my arcade machine. It's a wall-mounted or bar-top arcade cabinet, two-player style. I built this thing almost 4 years ago, which is basically dinosaur times by internet standards. I made a video about it back then, but I wasn't very good at making videos back then. Also, I was sick, and I rushed it. I also barely explained the tech side at all, so this video is a do-over. Today's video is the full tour, how I built it, what's inside, how it works, how I made it look like this, how I actually use it, and most importantly, how I beat Mr. Sujano at NHL 94 despite his lies to the contrary. The cool part is that you can totally build this yourself. It's not hard. I've even got my plans that you can download. Trust me, if I can get this on my wall, you can too. I hope this video is helpful, useful, entertaining, all that stuff. And for me, I hope that I can be proud enough about this video to show it off because I'm really proud of the arcade machine itself. And I'd love to have an actually good video to share. Let's start with how I got the idea, and it actually started the same way that lots of things in my life started. I was being a cheapskate, trying to save money. And I actually did. This cabinet was not very expensive to make. The most expensive part was the actual cabinet. I had a local furniture making guy take my plans and turn it into my arcade cabinet. I'm not much of a woodworking guy, so I let someone else do that part. It wasn't that expensive though. He charged me $240, which is about 110 USD. And that was the biggest expense of the whole project. Everything else was pretty cheap. I gave him the design with all the measurements that I came up with, and he turned my design into the real thing. But for those of you who are good with wood, I'm pretty sure you could make this yourself pretty easily. Once it was built, the next step was to paint it. So here, watch me having fun with this paint roller. Doesn't this look like fun? Did you know that the paint roller was invented by a Canadian? It's true. See, we're good for something. It had to be orange, obviously. I used some acrylic paints that I had kicking around and they worked just fine. I put an orange accent along the edge here and the button board, those are the orange parts. But I didn't want it to be just orange, so I went with a two-tone color scheme, black and orange. I have a bit of a thing for that color combo, as you probably noticed. One thing that was important to me was to have the edges be a different color. Lots of arcade cabinets go for that design and it looks so good. So I had to mask the orange areas with masking tape to protect them as I added the black parts. For the marquee at the top, I wanted to have that lit up. So the idea was the design was going to be printed on vinyl and mounted on this piece of plexiglass that I had the furniture guy cut for me. I designed my own marquee in Adobe Illustrator. I wanted something fun and kind of dorky, but also generic. I didn't want it to say TechDweeb's arcade machine or whatever. And if you make an arcade machine, you can use this same design on your marquee if you want to. It's monotone, so you could easily adjust the hue to match whatever color of arcade machine you make. So here's some footage of the guy from the print shop sticking the vinyl print onto my piece of plexiglass. This is backlit vinyl. It's meant for this sort of thing. The light shines from behind and it makes it kind of glow. Now, lots of people, when they make these kind of cabinets, they print stickers for the sides, but I just wanted to draw on it. I doodled my own designs. I'm using these Posca paint markers. These are acrylic paint markers. I put designs all around the sides and around the buttons and even on the top and bottom. Nobody sees that stuff, but you get to. Let's go over the techie stuff on the inside. For the buttons and stuff, this is just a cheap USB arcade button and joystick kit. I'll try to find links for all this stuff and put them in the thingy below if you're making your own arcade cabinet and you want to get the same stuff that I got. This is just some buttons and wires and a PCB thing to connect it all up together and a USB cord. This actually registers as an Xbox 360 controller, so it works with pretty much anything. You can use it with a PC, a Raspberry Pi, or even an Android box. This is my Kinhank Super Console X. This is a pre-made retro console that comes pre-set up and ready to rock with games and everything all ready to go. I'll show you how I customized the system in a bit. So to put the sticks in, I just drilled some pilot holes and I used a ratchet underneath. I really should have installed this stuff before I put the bottom on the cabinet. It was pretty tight working under there, but yeah, I got the stuff in and all connected up, so all's well that ends well. As you can see, I went with a 6-button layout. 6 buttons for each player's buttons, and a coin button on the front, and a button around the side for like start and menus and stuff. I'm one of those weirdos who actually likes to do cable management, so I had a great time wiring this up. The monitor is just a computer monitor. It's an old monitor that I had kicking around, so I just used this. It has speakers built in, and that would have been fine to go with, but I actually went with external speakers because I wanted my sound to have a bit more oomph. The monitor is literally just slapped in there, and it sits on a piece of wood, and it's held in place by these metal straps. I don't know what they're called. Here I am putting the marquee in. It just slots into the groove here on the top area, and the top piece has a groove too, so this was all I had to do to finish up the assembly. For the marquee's light, I got this LED strip from Amazon. The final wiring was just to plug everything into the Super Console X. I have a USB hub, and I plugged everything into that, both the USB arcade stick controllers and also the wireless controllers that came with the Super Console X. The only thing left to do is show you how it's mounted to the wall. The mounting method that I used is called a French cleat. It is super strong. Gravity holds it on there, but you can remove it. And I plugged it in down here with an extension cord, and that's actually plugged into a wireless switch on my outlet, which is connected up to this wireless light switch. And here I am turning on the arcade machine for the first time in its new home. Man, that felt really good. Good job, past TechDweeb. I'm proud of you. So that's how I made it. It's basically everything that I covered in my first video, but I didn't actually give you a real tour of how it works or what it's like to use. So let's do that. There's only one cable going up to the cabinet, just the power cable. This is a PC down here, but this doesn't actually connect up to the cabinet. My walls are wired with HDMI, and this PC is for this TV over there. Everything that runs the arcade machine is inside the machine itself, except for the power. Actually, that's one thing that I really wish. I wish I had a power plug up here behind the cabinet so I could have 0 wires go into it. Maybe I'll hire an electrical guy to do that someday. When you turn it on with the wireless switch, it provides power to the extension cord, and everything inside the cabinet is plugged into that. So everything turns on. The monitor, the Super Console, the light strip at the top, and the speakers. It's all powered by this one switch. This Super Console runs Emulec, which is a custom Android operating system that uses Emulation Station as the front end. And it came pre-set up with games. However, like all these emulation boxes, it came with too many games. There were games for systems that I didn't even know what they were, so I decided to scrap everything on here and start fresh with my own personal game collection. Since this is Emulation Station based, it was an easy job just to copy over everything that I had from my newly devices. This is my newly ROM set on here, along with my game lists and my scraped art. I had it all already. Check out this video if you want to know about my personal game collection and how I organized this stuff. Of course, I installed the TechDweeb Emulation Station theme as well, so the theme of the front end matches the aesthetics of the cabinet. How cool is that? I'll answer for you. It's awesome. At first, when I was customizing the Super Console X, I would have to take the cabinet down and take the SD card out of the console and pop it into my PC to manage the files that way. However, when I grew a brain, I realized that this thing has Wi-Fi. So I connected it to my network, and now I can actually access the Super Console from my PC. All I need to do is turn on my arcade machine, and then I can connect to it right through Windows networking, and I have full access to all the files and stuff. This is great. If I get some new game or make a change to my games list, I can copy those changes over easy peasy without having to take the machine off the wall. One of the things that's nice about Emulec is how customizable it is. For example, I can set the RetroArch hotkeys to whatever I want. I can set up each system exactly how I want and save the settings. The OS or the front end doesn't overwrite the changes I make. So I went through each system and picked exactly the scaling options I want, exactly the shaders, my preferred hotkeys. It's all perfect. Oh, and since I have the original Super Console controllers plugged in, I installed these little controller holders on the side of the arcade machine, and I can use these controllers instead of the arcade controls. Or in addition, if I want to play 4 players on here, I can do that. So if I somehow manage to make 3 friends, we can all play Turtles in Time together. That hasn't happened yet, but I'm ready if it ever does. It's pretty cool that I was able to use these arcade controls with the Super Console X, and it all worked right away. And if you make something like this, you don't need to use a Super Console X. Any device that plays retro games and has USB should work. You can use a Raspberry Pi or a retro handheld in kind of console mode, or even a PC. If I wanted to use this PC down here, it would be pretty simple to have this powering the cabinet, or even a mini PC inside the cabinet. That would be pretty cool too. I think if you liked high-end games, it would be an amazing setup if you got like a mini PC and one of those emulation drives, like that 12 terabyte emulation drive from Amazon that I reviewed. An arcade machine with every GameCube and PS2 game. Heck yeah, that sounds epic. Not something I'd personally be interested in. I prefer playing the older stuff, but I can see the appeal in having an arcade machine that can play some really high-end stuff, for sure. As for what I actually do play on here, like I said, I'm here for the older stuff. Obviously, arcade games are great. I have my Final Burn Neo ROM set in here, and I have like every arcade game that I could ever want. And I love playing arcade games on it because it's an arcade machine. It just feels right. And also, when I come to this to play arcade games, usually I'm in the mood to just have fun. I just want to jump on my arcade machine and just play a bunch of mindless, fun, flashy games. Arcade games are perfect for that, obviously. Lots of console games are great though. Lots aren't. I don't particularly like playing side-scrollers or platformers on here. I feel like those are better off with a D-pad, and I'm not gonna sit here and play with a controller. I'd rather go to my cozy retro game corner to play that sort of thing. However, console games that feel more like arcade games are amazing. Sports games, top-down shooters, run-and-gun games, beat-them-ups, all that actiony stuff feels awesome to play. The weirdest thing that I like to do on this cabinet is play Game Boy games. At first I was like, oh, I can put an orange colorization on my Game Boy games and make it match my cabinet. Haha, isn't that funny? But here's the thing, I actually kind of love playing Game Boy games on here. Actually, this is something I've noticed. There's a sort of secret sauce to playing Game Boy games on an arcade stick. I think it's because the games are more primitive and simpler. The Game Boy wasn't the powerhouse, and arcade sticks are kind of slower. They're not as like snappy and twitchy as controllers. So it's actually a very strangely perfect fit to play Game Boy games in an arcade cabinet. The arcadey style games like shooters and sports games. All those are great. And okay, you're not gonna believe me when I tell you this, but I swear it's true. RPGs. I went through a phase where I played a whole bunch of Game Boy RPGs on here, and I was confused and delighted at how much I enjoyed it. Maybe that's too weird for you, but like, don't knock it till you try it. Having this in my life, it's awesome. This has been a great stress relief for me. I come here when I need to pick me up, and it does it every time. Arcades were crazy popular when I was a kid and teenager, and they're pretty rare nowadays, but when I come and stand here at my arcade machine, I feel like I've stepped back in time, and my brain releases the same happy chemicals that I used to get when I played time killers at the pizza place that I had my birthday parties at when I was a kid, or when I would blow my part-time dishwasher job money on street food and quarters at the arcade downtown when I was a teenager. That's the arcade machine magic that we don't get when we plop our butts down on a couch with controllers. Part of me worries that it's becoming a lost art. The art of arcade machine gaming. Is that going away? I don't know. It probably is, to be fair. Most people don't have arcade machines, but I hope that this video at least inspired a few of you dweebs out there to consider making one of these for yourself. And like I said, I have the plans for this one that I made linked in the thingy below if you need like a starting place. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have too, so just leave them in the comments. If there's anything at all that you want to see me do with this arcade machine, let me know. I'd love to make more videos about my arcade machine, but I need to know what to do. I need to know what you want to see. So just let's hear your big ideas in the comments. Anyways, that's going to do it for me for today. I'm TechDweeb. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.